our defense of Israel is unshakable. I would consider it a failure on my part, a fundamental failure of my presidency, if on my watch, or as a consequence of work that I had done, Israel was rendered more vulnerable.
Not just a strategic failure.
And I think that's not just a strategic failure, I think that would be a moral failure.
Oh, that's so comforting. Hey, Israel, if you get blown to smithereens, Obama's going to feel bad. Don't you feel better now? Joining us now is Jonathan Tobin, senior editor, Commentary Magazine. That was Jonathan, of course, Obama with the New York Times and Thomas Friedman. And you've written a great piece at commentarymagazine.com, Obama's Legacy and the Verdict of History. I'm sorry. That remark to me was very flippant. Maybe he didn't intend it to be that way, but it scares the heck out of me.
Well, it ought to scare the heck out of people in Israel and, frankly, people everywhere. Because what we've done with this agreement is to set in motion a series of events, and we're already seeing them unfold, that empowers a dangerous, aggressive Islamist regime fueled by anti-Semitism and hate, and that is already putting it into effect. Even as Obama was negotiating this deal, this appeasement deal, which allows, contrary to his campaign promises, that allows Iran to retain its nuclear infrastructure and to either cheat its way to a bomb very easily or to get a bomb by observing this treaty, the Iranians have already set in motion a regime change effort by its rebels in Yemen. And just today, just in the last 24 hours, Steve, we've learned that Iran is funneling money and extra armaments to Gaza to help fund Hamas terror tunnels and missiles to strike at Israel.
He doesn't care. Obama doesn't care.
Please, that he's not going to weaken Israel. He has already weakened Israel.
Yeah, but for some amazingly strange reason, that it's not amazingly strange that this president has found a way to do it. It's amazingly strange that the world has agreed to accept it. They've separated Iran's nuclear program with everything else that Iran is doing to terror, taking over the Middle East, dethroning Yemen, and, of course, as you mentioned, funding terrorism all over the world and against Israel. And they're holding 3 Americans. One is a Marine. And none of that counts.
Absolutely. And, we're getting 2 different kinds of conflicting messages from the president and his cheerleaders in that same New York Times opinion section. Because in the same day that Tom Friedman is letting Obama, spout about how much he cares about Israel and how now he respects its concerns, we get Roger Cohen explaining for us and being quite honest about the fact that the point of this deal is not to just seal off Iran's nuclear program, which it doesn't do. It is to create a new détente for Iran and between Iran and the United States. And Nicholas Kristof, also in that same section, did the same thing last week, talking about how nice the Iranian people are and what a great country
Jonathan,
it is.
Barbara Boxer, after claiming that Benjamin Netanyahu presented no alternative to the Congress, no alternative during the election, no alternative now, and was corrected by saying his alternative is tighten the sanctions, she hemmed and hawed and laughed and cleared her throat and said, well, sanctions hurt the good people of Iran, and we don't want to hurt them. I mean, my God.
This is a very disingenuous argument, because I'm not going to sit here and say that there aren't any nice people in Iran, that it's not a beautiful country.
So what?
But that has nothing to do with this question. When we speak of Obama's legacy, if everything went right with this agreement, if Iran changed, if Iran never built a bomb, and if Iran stopped funding terrorism, and Iran did everything that he wanted to do, then his legacy as a peacemaker would be assured. That would be quite a legacy for any president. But everything we know about Iran, about what Iran is doing now, not just what we could guess about what it might do in the future, tells us that what he has done is to appease an aggressive regime. And when that happens, the lessons of history are ironclad. We know what happened.
And Jonathan,
Iran gets stronger, the world gets more dangerous.
What he should have demanded as a good faith gesture from day one was release our prisoners, release the pastor, release our Marine, release the other prisoner, and then let's go from there. You'll show the world that maybe you are changing. But no, Not one word about those 3 people being held by this terrorist regime. Jonathan, great piece. Thank you for joining us as always. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Closing Bell Report. First day of the week, post-Easter. Let's see what happened with Jeff Yasteen when we come back.